So if you are a buyer's agent right now and you are sick and tired of only dealing with buyers and you're like, why, oh why can't I just be a full-time listing agent? This video is for you. So if you don't know who I am, my name is Henry Eisenstein and I've been a part of over $400 million worth of real estate transactions and I'm only 28 years old. And I'm here to create a video perfectly for you. Yes, you, the buyer's agent who is dreaming of being a full-time listing agent. So let's dive right in the video. So the very first thing that you're going to want to keep in mind if you're a buyer's agent right now and you're looking to transition into a full-time listing agent is the type of lead generation you're doing. So let's just talk about the leads. So when it comes to the leads that you're prospecting, first and foremost, the beautiful thing about prospecting for listings or for sellers is that often what ends up happening is that those sellers are most commonly also buyers. So you actually get the best of both worlds, which is why I preach this so heavily, where even if you just want to work with buyers as a majority, still prospect for sellers. What happens is that when you prospect for sellers, again, a majority are going to end up being buyers. So this is the first thing. Because too many people, when they want to be a full-time buyer's agent, is that they're typically being fed leads from some type of software-based lead generation process. As an example, Zillow, Redfin, or a bunch of other processes like this where they sign up for something and then you're going to get a lead flow. Even if, hypothetically, you're doing Facebook ads or something like that, typically this is very, very common for a buyer's agent to be fed leads of some sort. I want you to adjust your focus, right? I don't want you to pause at 100%. I just want you to know that if you don't spend a portion of your time prospecting for seller leads, which I don't care if it's cold calling, door knocking, networking, whatever you want to call it. I don't care what you do to generate the leads because there's a lot of different things we can focus on here. The adjustment is truly in how you prospect because you really can't outwardly cold call for buyer leads. That really just doesn't make any sense because you're not going to just circle prospect the neighborhood and say, hey, are you looking to buy a house? They're typically living in a home right now. You understand what I'm saying? The adjustment of how you prospect and who you prospect is the key here because you're typically being fed. Now it's about going out and being the hunter, right? You got your
harpoon. That's what I'm doing right now. Holding the spear.
Right. I don't know if you got the gist of it. I'm being a hunter right now. That what I'm trying to say is you need to become the hunter, not just the gatherer, because the buyer's agent is the gatherer and dealing with the leads and organizing, right? And just kind of handling what they have instead of being the hunter and finding those leads. The second phase of this is the conversation. So first you have the leads, now it's about the conversations. Now that you're starting to prospect slightly differently, you need to know, quote, what to say, which again, for those of you who don't know this, I have the free script book in the description down below, so make sure you check that out. The conversations is all about the how you speak to the individual and how you speak in general about what you do. What ends up happening is we commonly in real estate, if you're typically working with buyers, is when someone says to you, what do you do for a living? You're going to gear what you say to typically what you're doing on a daily basis. I mean, yes, some of you just say, I'm a real estate agent, but most of the time, what most people will say is like, I'm a real estate agent, I work with a lot of first-time home buyers, or I'm a buyer's agent, we work with a lot of buyers. You're gonna say something a lot of the time that has to do with buying, like about buying homes, or specifically being a buyer's agent. And what ends up happening is you're pigeonholing yourself in this one pillar, this one facet of this multifaceted industry. When you are having conversations, the reason why I want to bring up the fact that you need to adjust the types of conversations you're having and how you're speaking about what you do. This is about sculpting the wording around what you do for a living and how you speak to clientele. And also, once you understand how to speak clearly about what you do, you're going to attract that. If you're getting massive value out of this video and you want to work with me personally, make sure you check out the first link in the description down below and schedule your free consultation with myself and my team. Because if you keep saying, I'm a buyer's agent, hey John, I'm a buyer's agent, hey Sally, I'm a buyer's agent, when you tell the world this, you're going to attract buyer leads. However, when you're telling the world, your sphere, your network, right, the people around you, like, hey, I specifically work with sellers who blank, right? You're going to tell the world what you're doing, right? Like now you're a listing agent who I primarily work with. Again, I'm making something up here, but hi, my name is Henry, and I primarily work with luxury real estate, specifically sellers who are looking to buy their first luxury property, sell their first luxury property, you name it, right? Whatever you want to say, but you can claim hey, I'm a real estate agent who works with an X market, right? So again, hey, my name is Henry with XYZ Real Estate. I'm primarily a seller's agent who works in XYZ towns. They can be, higher end neighborhoods, luxury neighborhoods, whatever you want to say, but you want to stand the ground of the new version of you, right? I'm not just a buyer's agent anymore. I'm a seller's agent. And you don't have to just tell people like, hey, I don't work with buyers. It's specifically like, hey, I work with X type of clientele because the buyers happen. Buyers end up happening all the time. Like if you're going to be referred a seller, again, 90% of the time, they're also going to want to buy. All of this leads to phase number 3, which is the referrals. Once you start speaking about what you do for a living, now the ask needs to change, right? When you're speaking to your past clients, current clients, or whoever you're working with, right? Like let's just even just say you closed a lot of buyer transactions. Now you can call those people up and say, hey, how are you? It's Henry again with XYZ Real Estate. How you doing? I'm doing great. How are you? Great. You reconnected them, build that rapport. Now you've gone past the rapport building. You've asked them a couple questions. How's the kids? How's the family? What are you up to? Blah, blah, blah. You say, listen, my team and I, we are on a mission this year to help 100 families this year, 50 families this year, 20 families this year, and I could really use your support. I am specifically looking to work with people who are blank, people who are looking to sell their first home and look to upsize into a larger home. But I would really be cautious about the referral ask that it has something to do with John, and I'll explain. If John is a 28-year-old guy who just bought his first house, you're not going to say, John, I am really, I'm looking for people who are looking to downsize and retire. Doesn't make any sense because most likely John doesn't know many of those people. But John probably knows individuals who are looking to upsize, some people who are looking to sell one of their properties and look to upsize their home. They're starting to have some kids, maybe they just got married, right? Their home currently doesn't have enough space. You're going to ask specifically for what John is most likely to know, the people in John's life. Because again, John's not going to know someone who's probably looking to downsize if he's 28. Just like if you just help John, hypothetically, buy their first rental property and he's 65 years old and he's been living in the same house for 30 years, what you probably want to say to John is say, hey John, Henry again with XYZ Real Estate, how you doing? Hope all is well. You build the rapport and you're like, John, listen, I would really appreciate, because we're looking to support 20 families this year. My goal this year is to support 20 families, help 20 families sell and buy their next piece of real estate. So John, specifically, I'm looking to work with individuals who have a rental property and looking to do a 1031 exchange into a larger rental property. Who do you know who I would be able to support? Who do you know who's looking to buy another investment property, looking to sell their next investment property so they can get into a bigger piece of property? I know you just bought a piece of property. I'm just curious, do you own any other pieces of property? Yes, no, maybe so. There are times where I've worked with somebody and I had no idea that they actually own 6 or 7 other properties. I'm like, really? Oh my God, I had no idea. This is why it's very crucial to make sure you speak to your past clients. And these are things that we talk about all the time in the coaching program. So if you think you'd be a fantastic fit, make sure you schedule your free consultation in the description down below. Okay, so last but not least is going to be the mindset, baby, the mindset, because it's not just about doing the work, which I believe is a large majority of it. But if you're not in the right mindset, which is I'm going to become a full-time listing agent at this point, where there's a mindset shift here. It's truly about owning your own business now, because when you are the listing agent, you are more likely than not going to not be fed leads anymore. So if you don't have the mindset of saying, hey, I'm going to prospect now for 2, 3, 4 hours a day, every day, primarily for the first year of my career, was essentially like an assistant / buyer's agent, okay? And I didn't really make any money that year. That was because I wasn't prospecting. When I shifted into becoming the listing agent, now that I am, right, where now again I'm a dynamic realtor, I work with the multifaceted parts of this business. However, the shift that when I went from buyer's agent to listing agent, I went from making 30, 40 grand to 100 plus immediately within less than a year. It's a drastic difference, and it starts with the mindset saying, I'm going to take 100% responsibility of my business and the future of my business. Again, we were just talking about this on one of our coaching calls today. The amount of business that's going on right now, the amount of transactions is dwindling by the minute, okay? The amount of transactions that are done every single year is dwindling by the minute. And by the way, so is the competition. The amount of realtors who are leaving this industry are dwindling by the minute. And again, if you want to be on top, if you want to come out this market shift and thrive, not just survive, which we've done in other videos, we talked about this, you need to be paying attention to taking 100% responsibility and being the hunter. So again, if you're ready to go from buyer's agent to listing agent, not only do you have to schedule a free consultation down in the description down below, but you need to shift the mindset right away so that you can start seeing the fruits of your labor quickly. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.